Hi everyone, it's Marco, and in this video I will be sharing with you an interview that I recently did with the CEO of the P2P lending platform Maclear. So this is a platform that I recently discovered, and it's the first actually platform that is located in Switzerland. So we discussed about the platform, why they actually started it, what it means actually for investors to invest on a platform that's based in Switzerland, what does it add in terms of security and safety on the platform. We talked about many things, also like the future of the crowdfunding space and also of their platform. So it was a very interesting conversation I had with the CEO. So without further ado, let's dive right into this interview I made with the CEO of Maclear. So to start, can you actually introduce yourself and also your company, Maclear?
Hi, Marco. It's a very big pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad to introduce our Swiss-based crowdlending platform and, of course, our team. I'm a co-owner and one of the directors of the company. I have an extensive working experience in banking and financial sector accumulated over past 7 years. While I've been working on very senior management position in multinational companies, I clearly understood the difficulties and unnecessary complications connected to the traditional banking financing. A lot of artificial barriers are built, and I want to outline the fact that they especially imposed for small and medium-sized companies. The access to the banking capital currently is very formalized, conservative, and strict. It is very time and efforts consuming and not really feasible for relatively fresh companies, even in cases where they may have well-established business activity and may demonstrate steady growth and development. So I proposed to my partner Alexander the idea of a transparent and sophisticated Swiss crowdlending platform, which will be capable to connect Swiss investors with the wide range of euro-based businesses, our potential borrowers who are looking for additional financing opportunities and options. Compared to the traditional financial institutions, so we're more flexible and customers-oriented. At the same time, we provide full set of measures designated for proper risk assessment and mitigation, protecting our investors and ensuring comfortable conditions for all participants. We have a very strong international team of professionals who definitely bring additional value and confidence to the company. Just Marco, let me briefly introduce them, please.
Sure.
First, of course, my friend and my partner, Alexander Nikitin, he definitely has a very valuable multi-year experience in various foreign trade and industrial projects. And as a director of Maclear, he plays a very significant role organizing and coordinating internal processes within the company, working closely with project development group, organizing and controlling internal procedure for potential projects evaluation and scoring. By the way, he is well known for his accuracy and pedantism in what concerned business processes of any type. But at the same time, he managed to establish and maintain great team spirit within the company, inspiring our personnel for new achievements. Also, I want to mention our third director, Alexei Martin, who is a professional lawyer and capable to support our colleagues in the areas of banking and financial markets law, including capital and license requirements. Alexei is holding simultaneously a relationship manager position at Empire Merchant Bank, which is in Zurich, and covers various important areas, including proper KYC, due diligence, pre-compliance checks, and onboarding procedure for the new clients. And also want to mention our chief AML and compliance officer, Igor Bannikov. He ensured the compliance with the industry standards regarding proper verification and full assessment of each borrowing projects to be listed on the platform. He approved due diligence report and risk scoring prepared for each borrowing project. That's it.
So that's a very nice introduction to your company and also your team. So you also already answered to this a bit, but I want to know more about what really pushed you and your partners to really initially create Maclear.
First, of course, I was very motivated to grow personally and, let's say, extend my boundaries. I wanted to utilize my previous practical experience and knowledge in financial sector and then combine it with my ambitions. We together with Alexander clearly saw the potential in crowd financing, crowd environment, and decided to establish our Swiss entity Maclear for this purpose. This is clearly an emergent market segment with the great potential for upcoming years, where we definitely want to participate. Back in 2020, we purposely chose Switzerland as home residence for our company due to its stability and reputation, proper and reasonable regulation, transparency, and additional tax advantages. As I mentioned before, we want to propose to our Swiss crowd investors an efficient access to the variety of EU-based growing businesses, our potential borrowing projects. This would enable them to invest safely and transparently, considering the risk and proposed profitability, also diversifying their investment portfolio and not only concentrating on Swiss internal market. We propose to our investors only carefully assessed and verified borrowing projects which demonstrate sustainability and clear potential for further growth. The very important aspect for us is to gain trust and confidence for investors community. That's why we put a special accent on guarantees and additional collaterals to guarantee the loans and secure the repayment schedules. That's it.
Okay. Great. So, as you probably know, there are many platforms in Europe at the moment in the peer-to-peer lending space. So, what would you say? How is Maclear, maybe on one selling point, like how is Maclear different from all the other platforms that are out there?
Yes, Marco, this is a very interesting question. In the current highly competitive market of online P2P lending, it is really hard to distinguish nuances and crucial differences among dozens of participants. I don't not really want to discuss strengths and weaknesses of our competitors, but let me try to explain our competitive advantages. Personally see them. We are a new player in this field, and it is very crucial for us to gain trust from our potential investors' audience. This is definitely a question of our survivability. Therefore, we have to be very careful and very conservative in our practical approach towards potential borrowing projects, what we propose to investor attention. This is why we implement very careful risk assessment methodology and scoring system built in our platform, all performed and controlled by qualified and experienced in-house personnel, including risk managers, our AML and compliance officers. They are regularly trained and certified according to Swiss requirements in order to ensure the high standards in the industry. This is also about why we started with the borrowing business projects originated from Estonia, our home country, and because we personally can physically assess and monitor them, visit their production facilities, interact with the teams, permanently control their financial performance. To summarize, we perform a complex work designated to one single purpose: to build a bridge that brings together online loans facilitation and the offline work, where we carefully supervise and support all of our potential borrowers and working individually with each of them. In one word, it is a tailor-made approach to each project we assess and list on our platform, ensuring proper risk management and investment safety. This comes first, of course. At the same time, the maximum transparency and regulatory compliance are ensured by Swiss regulation, well known by its stability, conservatism, and investor protection measures. I sincerely think this makes us different from the others. In current quite turbulent times, when we are facing unpredictability in highly unstable financial markets, high inflation rates worldwide, economy seriously influenced by pandemic period, and also ongoing war in Ukraine. People want to be sure about their investments, that they are well secured and also can bring desired yields. And here I would like to highlight one of our tools planned to be implemented on the platform, the provision fund. It is funded by 2% coming from all successfully funded projects, which is deducted from the platform's commission. Provision fund will provide additional security for our investors in cases when borrowing projects may experience temporary difficulties in repayments according to their schedules. So let's say our niche is to bring the highest possible yields to our investors corresponding to the well-identified and manageable risks. And as a conclusion, I can say that our internal compliance and risk management procedures are very strong elements which ensure investors' confidence and should serve as a keystone for our further development. Also, it is important to mention as our distinguished and competitive advantage the carefully crafted and implemented functionality of the platform, which gives access to a number of unique features available to all registered users, including investment portfolio management, statistic and analysis, security features, and many others. The platform itself is our unique IT product. It is very universal and adaptable. Presently, we continue to improve it further, adding new functions. It has a very user-friendly and intuitive dashboard adapted for any device. We really hope that our product will receive high-ranked feedback from our users. That's it.
Great, sounds amazing. My next question is a bit more general on the investing field. So you know, there are many ways to invest money out there. Peer-to-peer lending is just one of them. I'm, for example, also quite big on investing on the stock market for dividends, and I talk about that on my site as well. Why do you think peer-to-peer lending is better or different than, you know, for example, classical real estate, invest in stock markets, putting on those all those more classical ways to invest? What do you think about that?
Okay. Marco, to be honest, it is almost impossible to assert that P2P lending is definitely better, safer, and more advantageous for investors than other asset classes. It is up to them to decide what expectation they follow and what risks are corresponding to their chosen direction. For my personal opinion, from what I monitor at the moment, the institutional investors just probably ahead our market segment, and the interest rates are relatively high and the yields for investors remain attractive. Of course, if yields in range 12 to 14% per annum correspond to the properly assessed and identified risk assigned to each specific borrower, and of course, if effectively implemented and realized additional measures to guarantee the repayment of the loan, such as collaterals and other securities. From my financial and banking experience, such a setup is viable and can be reasonably balanced. It can deliver to investors the desired result in yields and at the same time let them stand on the safe ground and not expose themselves to some unpredictable and not controlled risk. This is what makes P2P crowd lending attractive for investors from my point of view. Let's consider other asset classes. Classical investment in real estate require heavy financing, and as a negative side, they have very low diversification opportunities.
Yep.
If we're talking about stock exchange or commodities market, of course, you can potentially gain some serious profits speculating and playing short, but is very risky and time consuming. Definitely, you really need to be an expert doing this on a regular daily basis. Saving accounts are not attractive at all currently because banks commonly offer very low interest rates for this. Investment portfolios managed by a third professional party also might be quite risky compared to the average yields they are capable to propose. We're also facing serious drop down and stagnation in crypto segment. I'm not talking about even NFT bubble. doing absolutely opposite. We're concentrating on real sector projects such as manufacturing and productions, services and retail sector, which will be always demanded. I want to draw your attention to the fact that in crowd lending, if you carefully investigate the platform and its team, you are mostly relying on their expertise and professionalism instead of searching for an occasional chance to choose the right investment opportunity. By using crowd lending instruments, you can invest your funds by small portions, at the same time diversifying your portfolio through the various crowd lending providers and geography, also through the industries. This is it.
Yep, definitely agree, definitely. So now I actually asked some questions to my audience. I told them that I will have an interview with you, and I actually asked them if they have any questions directly for your platform and for you.
Mhm.
So there are three of them that came up a lot. The first one is really about the whole regulation aspect. So as you probably know, there are many platforms that are getting, for example, investment or brokerage licenses at the moment in Europe. Some other platforms are more going towards this European crowdfunding license framework. So what are the plans of Maclear regarding all the regulation and license question? Maybe it doesn't apply to you at all because you are based in Switzerland. Can you actually tell us a bit about that?
Marco, just want to remind you that we are a Swiss-based company regulated by Swiss financial regulation and Swiss legislation. The essence of regulatory framework remains the same and very similar to EU normative. As a member of Polyrec SRO, we are regulated and monitored by Swiss financial authorities, and we can act as financial intermediary of non-banking sector in and from Switzerland. This practically equals to the European crowdfunding service provider license, but with some specific limitation imposed by Swiss regulation. These specific limitations are described in our compliance concept and internal compliance policy. They include 1 million threshold and 60 days limitation for the investor fund to be held on Maclear's bank account at any time.
Okay.
Swiss regulation imposes very strict normative on compliance, AML, KYC, GDPR, and other issues to be adhered. But nevertheless, your question is relevant to our roadmap because we plan during the next year to open a subsidiary company for Maclear to be established in EU and to be fully qualified for ECSP license.
Okay.
Of course, we assume that this is going to take some time and efforts because at the moment we're fully concentrate on our Swiss development company, our Swiss company development.
Okay, yeah, makes perfect sense. The second question from my audience was that Maclear is still a quite new platform, right, compared to others. So people were wondering, what if something, let's say, would happen financially to the platform? Of course, we don't wish that at all, but what will happen to their investment if anything would happen because you are still quite a new platform, right?
You are absolutely correct, Marco. We are a new company just recently launched our activity, and we intended to build trust and confidence for all our counterparties because it is crucial for us. Firstly, according to our contractual framework, we are serving as collateral and collection agent in favor of all our investors, besides the role of payment processing agent. What means that we hold in our hands all pledges and guarantees to be provided by the borrowing projects to secure the loans issued to them. Secondly, we very carefully evaluate and assess prospective borrowing projects in terms of their sustainability and proven business performance. I can say that payback of the loans is guaranteed not only by the collaterals, but also by careful selection and supervision performed by platform on each borrowing project. But of course, formally, we have an obligatory risk disclaimer saying that certain risks exist and we cannot guarantee that platform will be able to recover 100% to investors in case of borrowing project's failure.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. The third question from my audience, you already answered to it a bit, but let's see if you maybe want to add something. So you are one of the only Swiss peer-to-peer lending platform, or at least the only one that I know about, for sure. There are not so many. What do you believe? How do you believe is an advantage compared to other platforms? So you already mentioned things like stability, more compliance requirements. Do you see something else that will give you an advantage being based in Switzerland?
I think that all our investors should be very comfortable with Swiss regulation because it ensures proper control and stability. It was not easy to establish the business, consolidate professional people, and convince authorities that we meet the high standards set by Swiss jurisdiction. The fact that we passed Grant Thornton audit in May 2023 only certified that we are on the right rails. Let me mention all our key advantages: transparency, conservatism in project selection, adherence to strict regulation, ensuring investor protection, strong management team, and very sophisticated and user-friendly platform. Yep. So I'm very confident that such a setup should attract attention from crowd investors. Yep. We have nothing to add here.
Okay, perfect. Very clear. So next questions will be more about the future. So the first one will be more, where do you actually see the field of peer-to-peer lending or crowdlending at least going in the coming years, especially in Europe? And just to guide a bit the question, if you could, more like answer in the fields of, for example, returns for investors. Do you see that going up, going down? What do you actually think?
It's a very good question, Marco. I personally think that it should become a more commonly used financial instrument for small and medium-sized businesses, also for the startups and innovative ideas who currently experience a lack of access to the traditional banking financing due to complex reasons. Stricter regulation will increase dramatically the set of requirements and the level of qualification of the participating players. But at the same time will bring more confidence to the investors community. I assume that investors can hardly expect yields growth because soon this segment will become highly competitive. When all well-established institutional investors will try to get their portion of attention. Yeah. Security measures definitely should be improved among the industry, prioritizing investor protection and their awareness about potential risks. But in general, we clearly see the new era of alternative financing opportunities realized through crowdlending tools. I would call this decentralized financing, where the role of traditional banking will decrease seriously. The legislation should quickly be adapted for the new reality and new trends. At the same time, be reasonably heavy and not overloaded with bureaucratic complications. That's it.
Okay. That's for that. So still on the topic of the future, what are the plans for Maclear in the coming years? So you can, for example, share about new projects on the platform, about new features. Like I know you have some auto invest feature coming in the future, about more like from the user interface side. I know you also have an app coming. So if you could just give us a glimpse of what's coming for Maclear.
Of course, we will try to attract more investors to our platform by providing solid, transparent, and reliable service to our customers. Only by implementing higher standards set within the industry or by our competitors, we will be able to attract participants to our platform, both investors and borrowers. And definitely, we want to extend our portfolio of the project listed for fundraising, ensuring the quality and depth of their assessment. As I mentioned before, we plan to follow up every project listed for fundraising and continuously monitor their financial performance very, very closely, and support them with our consultancy and advising. Also, we plan to implement secondary market option for our investors to provide more flexibility and ensure claims liquidity. As well, we definitely plan to implement auto-invest function on a later stage. The mobile application also in our plans. As I mentioned before, our plans also include opening for Maclear a subsidiary company in EU jurisdiction. Regarding Switzerland, our plans are quite ambitious because we plan to target fintech license from the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, FINMA. This would enable us to become a neobank and a payment service provider. So we will be capable to process clients' funds ourselves instead of using third parties as a payment service provider. So we hopefully will be able to cut the cost quite seriously, increase our profits, and also offer better conditions to both our counterparties, investors and borrowers. And pretty much that's it for the moment.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like great plans for the future. So just to end on one question that I asked on all platforms, CEOs or leaders that I receive on this show, what would be the one advice that you would give to someone starting in this field of peer-to-peer lending as an investor?
My advice is very simple. Before considering certain investing through some online platform, I would first suggest investigating as close as possible the chosen platform. The attention should be paid to its regulation and licensing, the owners and the team standing behind, including their professional background, operational, legal, and contractual base, reflected in model contracts and internal policies. The investors should clearly understand the structure, how the loan is organized, and what role plays the platform, what function it performs. Also, I would suggest paying precise attention to the risk assessment and mitigation, how this block is realized on certain platform, how deep in detail each potential borrowing project assessed and overviewed. We should always keep in mind a very simple rule. To the higher risk always correspond higher risks. The task is to find an appropriate balance between them. And of course, another key point is diversification. Invest in small portions, small amounts, diversify through the geography and through the industry sectors. Probably that's it.
Yep, that's a great advice. Thank you for that. So now that we are near the end, what are the best ways for somebody that is interested to get more information about Maclear and also get started with your platform?
Through the public sources, of course. Switzerland has a very sophisticated informational database, credit scoring agencies, open commercial register. You can easily overview all our key team players' profiles through the social networking. LinkedIn, for example. And for sure, a lot of information you can gather from our website, and then, if necessary, verify it through other available public sources as well. We're very transparent and open because initially we were designed and built to be so. Have nothing to add here.
Awesome. Of course, I will put all the links to your website and also to your social media profiles right below the video, and also the podcast show notes. So that's the end. Thank you so much for getting this interview. And I'm sure my audience will relate it.
Very good. Thank you, Marco. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Have a nice day.
All right, so this is already the end of this interview. I really hope that this was interesting for you. If you want to learn more about the platform Maclear, I put some links just below the video. You will find a link directly to my website where you can actually learn more about the platform, and also I update more this article with all the latest information about the platform. So make sure to check this just below the video. I also put a link directly to the platform if you just want to learn more about it and maybe create a free account that will allow you to explore everything on the platform. If you have any questions about the interview, about Maclear, or about peer-to-peer lending or investing in general, just make sure to leave that below the video. That being said, thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.